Elon Musk is about to become the first trillionaire in history. Depending on the estimate, Musk is already worth close to $800 billion. But let's start from the beginning. Project Apex. It's the code name SpaceX gave to one of the most ambitious operations in history. It's not a revolutionary new rocket. It's not a mission to Mars. It's something far more down to Earth. It's IPO. On April 1st, SpaceX confidentially filed its paperwork with the SEC. The target valuation? Somewhere between $1.5 trillion and $2 trillion. The amount it hopes to raise? Between $30 billion and $75 billion. No company has ever attempted an IPO at this scale. The previous record belonged to Saudi Aramco, the Saudi oil giant, which raised around $29 billion when it went public in 2019. SpaceX wants to raise at least that much, and potentially more than twice as much. Elon Musk is building in plain sight what may become the largest conglomerate in history. An empire that stretches across rockets, satellites, artificial intelligence, robotics, social media, chips, brain implants, power plants, and data centers. Again, Musk is already worth close to $800 billion. After the IPO, that number could move into an entirely different universe, potentially pushing him past $1.5 trillion. And while most of us can barely even comprehend what that kind of money means, Musk is already thinking about how to spend it. So today, we're looking at what Musk is really playing at. On April 1st, SpaceX confidentially filed its IPO paperwork with the SEC. For weeks, regulators reviewed the company's numbers behind closed doors. But now, the prospectus is public. That means investors can finally look inside SpaceX's machine, its revenue, its losses, its risks, and the structure of what could become the largest IPO in history. And for anyone who has been waiting on this for months, Reuters reported a planned June 12 listing under the ticker SPCX. Obviously, this is the most anticipated IPO of the decade, probably even of the century. Dozens of banks are working on the deal, but 5 names stand out as the likely leaders: Goldman Sachs, Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, Bank of America, and Citigroup. Together, those 5 banks could split more than $500 million in fees. This is the kind of mandate Wall Street does not turn down, and Musk knows it. To work on the SpaceX IPO, he reportedly set one condition. Every bank involved had to subscribe to Grok, xAI's chatbot. A classic Musk move. Even the bankers trying to take SpaceX public have to become customers of another company in his empire. Some banks have already signed deals worth tens of millions of dollars a year and have begun integrating Grok into their internal systems. That tells you how badly they want this mandate. The good news for you and me is that SpaceX reportedly plans to reserve up to 30% of the offering for retail investors, roughly 3 times what you would normally see in an IPO of this size. Elon Musk wants his fans to be able to come aboard. SpaceX is not just being served up to pension funds and hedge funds. And in a way, this fits Musk perfectly. He has already shown how much he dislikes speculators, especially those who bet against his companies. Back in 2018, with his famous funding-secured tweet about taking Tesla private, Musk triggered a sudden jump in Tesla's stock price and put short sellers under serious pressure. The tweet also brought investigations, lawsuits, and penalties. But let's be honest, he probably didn't hate watching the shorts panic. On the numbers, SpaceX is already a monster. In 2025, the company generated about $18.7 billion in revenue, driven largely by Starlink, its satellite internet network now made up of thousands of satellites and millions of subscribers around the world. Starlink is no longer just a side project. It has become the financial engine of SpaceX. According to the IPO filing, the connectivity division, powered by Starlink, generated roughly $11.4 billion in revenue in 2025. That alone represents more than half of the company's business. So yes, this is solid. But compared with the valuation Musk is reportedly targeting, the numbers became almost surreal. At a $2 trillion valuation, investors would be paying roughly 107 times SpaceX's 2025 revenue. To give you a comparison, Meta generated about $201 billion in revenue in 2025 for a market capitalization of roughly $1.5 trillion. So, SpaceX is asking the market to pay a far higher premium than it would for one of the most profitable advertising machines on Earth. But that's the point. At this price, investors are not just buying SpaceX's current financials, they're buying Elon Musk's vision. And in any case, the company entering the Nasdaq in June is no longer the SpaceX people thought they knew. On February 2nd, 2026, SpaceX officially absorbed xAI. The combined group was valued at around $1.25 trillion, roughly $1 trillion for SpaceX and $250 billion for xAI. It was one of the largest private company mergers ever attempted, and it changed the story completely. xAI brings three things to SpaceX: Grok, X, and a massive AI supercomputer being built in Memphis. But it also brings enormous losses. In 2025, xAI generated about $3.2 billion in revenue, while losing around $6.4 billion from operations. So this is not a profitable business yet. It is a very expensive bet. Musk's logic is simple. Earth-based data centers will not be enough for the AI boom. So he wants to move part of that infrastructure into orbit. Solar-powered data centers cooled in space and circling the planet. It sounds absurd, but then again, so did reusable rockets. In theory, orbital data centers could avoid two huge problems on Earth: emissions from energy-hungry facilities and endless delays connecting them to the power grid. But to get there, Musk has to fuse SpaceX's rockets and satellites with xAI's models. Technically, the idea is amazing. Practically, it is still full of unresolved problems: radiation, maintenance, repairs, and the sheer difficulty of building infrastructure in orbit. For now, it's still a bet. Financially, the merger gives Musk one obvious advantage: xAI's losses can now sit next to Starlink's profits. That makes the story easier to sell to investors. Instead of a standalone AI company burning cash at insane speed, they see a larger machine where Starlink helps absorb the cost of Musk's AI ambitions. But the governance is messy. Musk was effectively on both sides of the deal. He controlled xAI, he controlled SpaceX, and the valuations were set with his own bankers. Outside shareholders had nothing to say, and legally, that's allowed. With roughly 42% of the equity and 79% of the voting rights, Musk still answers to almost no one. And yet, investors still seem willing to trust him, even after the chaos of Doge. In January 2025, Musk entered Washington through Trump's Department of Government Efficiency, promising to slash federal spending with Silicon Valley methods: layoffs, access to agency systems, and aggressive cuts across the bureaucracy. The backlash was immediate. By November 2025, Doge had been disbanded, 8 months ahead of schedule. And Trump, who had once treated Musk like a political superweapon, eventually turned on him, saying he had gone crazy. Tesla has also paid a heavy price. Tesla dealerships were vandalized, a global boycott movement started taking shape, and on the markets, the damage was brutal.
This happening at a Tesla facility in Las Vegas. The incident follows a string of protests and violence targeting Tesla across the country over Tesla CEO Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiencies.
At one point, Tesla had lost almost half its value from recent highs, wiping more than $100 billion from Musk's personal fortune. Even Musk admitted that being so close to Trump had become expensive. And yet, despite all the criticism, Musk keeps moving forward, and progress keeps moving with him. It starts with Neuralink, his brain-computer interface company. Neuralink says it has enrolled 21 participants in human trials worldwide.
My name's Alex. I am the second participant in the Neuralink study.
Its implants allow patients to control computers with their thoughts, browse the internet, and play video games without moving a finger. 30 years ago, this was science fiction. His teams are also working on Blindsight, a program designed to restore vision by stimulating the visual cortex directly. Then, on March 21st, Musk announced Terafab, a giant semiconductor project in Austin, Texas, involving Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI. The goal is to produce advanced AI chips internally for Tesla vehicles, Optimus robots, SpaceX satellites, and future orbital data centers. For that, Musk expects to spend tens of billions of dollars. But, as usual, almost no one believes it. Some analysts already call the project impossible, saying Musk's ambitions could require trillions of dollars. Musk's answer was simple: either we build Terafab or we do not have the chips. And we need the chips. It sounds insane, but people said the same thing about landing a booster on a drone ship in 2015, about electric cars in 2008, about reusable rockets in 2006, and about controlling a computer with your thoughts back in the year 2000. His vision for industrial-scale solar system was also dismissed as delusional. Today, it's one of the pillars of his energy strategy. Now, the world is waiting for his human robots, his data centers in space, and, of course, Mars. Musk is not just financing the future, he is trying to control the entire chain. Still, the original intention tells us something about the man. Starlink connects parts of the world no one had wired. Tesla forced an entire industry toward electric vehicles. Neuralink wants to restore sight to the blind. And Terafab is meant to produce the chips no one wants to sell him. You can criticize Musk for his ego, his tweets, and his politics. But no living human being has invested so aggressively in pushing technology forward in so many directions at once. In June, the market will tell us what all of that is worth. We cannot wait to read your comments, admirers and critics alike. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.